Hello everyone, welcome to the Tristar Gym channel. Please give me a sound check. Hopefully I'm getting it right now. Alright, we got people in the chat room already. Alright guys, I'm just gonna assume the sound is good unless you guys tell me otherwise. And I kept the intro as short as possible. For those of you who want to train at the Tristar Gym, contact tsdorms at gmail.com. The text is supposed to be up on your screen. It's coming up right now. If you guys want to book your room and come train, do a jiu-jitsu camp, an MMA camp. We got tons of people from all over the world training at the Tristar Gym all year round with us. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to move on and start answering your questions. All right, let's go. Hello from Sweden. What do we got today? All right, I'm just give you guys a minute to type up your questions. How to increase your reading speed? Well, I looked into that actually a little bit, and some people think that it's not true that you can increase your reading speed legitimately, but I've also heard people had a lot of success with it, but I personally haven't delved deep into that, so unfortunately I don't have an answer for you. Who wins, McGregor or Khabib? Well, listen, I'm hearing rumors that this fight might be the next one. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of rumors that it might be Khabib versus McGregor coming up next. So that fight, we talked about it before, and I think it's really simple. If it goes to the ground, it's a complete disaster for McGregor. It's an easy win for Khabib. If it stays standing, it's very dangerous for Khabib and quite a win for McGregor. Okay, McGregor is just, he's precise, he's got that distance, he's got that left hand, he's got the KO power. Nobody can doubt his KO power, his ability to KO somebody. What will happen in the fight? Will the takedown happen? I think so. I think the takedown does happen, but that left can also connect. So, we've seen McGregor get taken down to the ground. He's been taken down by Mendez. He's been taken down by Diaz. Who else has taken him down? He's been taken down. He's not impossible to take down. He's definitely not impossible. Now, he stopped Eddie Alvarez's takedowns beautifully. But Khabib, in my opinion, is another level of takedowns, another level of animal. Okay, so I think the fight gets to the ground, and it's not going to be pretty. But we always got that chance for a big punch. Okay, there's always a big chance for a big punch, and that can happen. All right, what else we got here? Brian Ortega's jiu-jitsu versus Khabib's ground. Well, listen, I prefer the top position. So I would give the advantage to the top position. But I would think as a whole, Ortega's jiu-jitsu is as good as anybody else. If not, probably maybe the best jiu-jitsu in his category, or at least as good as everyone else. Now, jiu-jitsu and MMA is different things. When you're getting punched, it's just different. It's just the options are different. The common responses that you'll do in jiu-jitsu may not work. So there is a difference when it comes to ground and pound. So I think if we're talking straight up jiu-jitsu, Ortega will do fantastic. But if you're stuck on the bottom and you're getting hit by Khabib, it's hard. It's much harder to pull off those maneuvers. What else we got here? Let's see. Okay, guys, real quick, I also want to talk about, because I've been saying I'm going to answer this question like 2-3 podcasts ago, and I didn't. I forgot. Because I'm getting so many different questions. I just forgot. Okay, so here, we're talking about the lockdown, the De La Riva lockdown. I did an instructional DVD, instructional video, reverse De La Riva lockdown, how to tie someone up. And people were asking me, is this an MMA guard? Can you use this in MMA? No, the answer is no. Okay, now why would I practice something so much that I wouldn't use in MMA? Well, one, we do 20% sport jiu-jitsu, 20%. Why? I find it's hard to teach just straight up MMA jiu-jitsu. It's just too difficult. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't translate well. Why? Because I find like when I'm doing the lockdown guard, okay, we're just fighting for control. In an MMA fight, we're not gonna fall in that position. The takedown's gonna land us in a position. Okay, maybe we're gonna land in half guard. Maybe we're gonna land in close guard. Maybe we're gonna land in side control. Maybe we're gonna land in mount. Maybe we're going to land in open guard even, okay? And from there, I'm going to hit all my moves that I would use that are universal. I'll use them in MMA, jiu-jitsu, sport jiu-jitsu, gi, no gi. That's when my universal jiu-jitsu comes in, okay? But when we're straight rolling, when we're doing jiu-jitsu, just straight grappling, who decides if we should start in half guard, full guard, open guard? Who decides if we should start at mount? So the lockdown, okay, when I put on the De La Riva, I'm just fighting you we're volleying for position. That's how I see it, okay? So I know my lockdown. I'm going to spin underneath your leg, and now the fight for me starts from there, okay? Or you're going to knee slide, and once you knee slide, I'm going to get caught. You're gonna smash me in half guard maybe, and that's for me. That's an MMA position. Okay, so it's not an MMA position. We're volleying for MMA positions from there. Okay, we're gonna do this for a little bit, and then eventually we're gonna lock into an MMA position, and then we're gonna do a lot of work from there. Okay, so why is that so important? Because sometimes somebody grabs my leg, they want to take me down, and I roll into a leg lock. Instead of rolling into a leg lock, instead of standing up, I'm doing it from the reverse De La Riva lockdown. I'm starting from there. Why? I want to warm up. I want to give you a chance to, sit to my leg and do a leg lock. I want to give you a chance to try to knee slide. So again, it's just the 20% of the sport, jiu-jitsu, that we cannot, in my opinion, get away without. Okay, we cannot put it aside because volleying for position is an important part of learning to transition. Okay, if I always start you in full guard, if I always start you in half guard, I don't think you'll be a great scrambler. It's a bit hard to define, but sometimes we land in positions that are not exact, and we have to improvise. We're not. That's how I define a scramble. A scramble for me is when we're fighting for a standard position. We are not in a standard position, and we are fighting for a standard position. Mount, half guard, side control, back control, north, south. The standard positions, okay? And De La Riva's, for me, is a standard position, but I use that standard position to volley for an MMA position, to fight for an MMA position, okay? So that's my explanation to you guys. I wouldn't lock down the guard in a real MMA fight, no. But doing a lot of lockdown in a sports scenario will make my jiu-jitsu really good for MMA. So when I go into MMA, I've had so much practice transitioning, flowing from one position to the other, that I'm not going to be stiff. I'm going to be quick. My reactions are going to be very quick. All right, guys, we got a super chat here. So let me answer my buddy's super chat. We got a super chat from Technics. Salam Firas, what's the best way to avoid staph? Great question. Okay, I'm not an expert on staph, but I've seen it lots. Number one, okay, I've talked to the doctors in my gym. They're like, look, number one, quite unanimously, they'll tell you this: shower right after practice. Like, shower right after practice as soon as possible. That's what they tell me. Okay, and they also tell me cover your skin if you can. Why? Because when you're rolling, your skin is breaking up. There's little scratches and little things you won't notice. Your skin is broken down a little bit. It could be just because you have dry skin or whatever. Once the skin is a little bit broken, there's a wound of some type, even though it's microscopic or whatnot, things can get in there. And staph is everywhere. Germs are everywhere. Okay, you cannot sanitize your gym to 100%. There's always going to be a little bit of germ. Okay, so obviously we want to sanitize the gym. We want to shower after practice. We want to make sure that we have we're covering our skin as much as possible. And if you see a staph, you got to treat it right away. You got to go see a doctor. You got to get treatment right away. Don't let it grow. Don't let it, if you see something mysterious on your skin, don't wait a month or two to go see a doctor. Me personally, what I do, if I have something on my skin, I take a picture of it, I send it to my doctor. I know him personally, they're my students. They tell me, this is staph or this is not staph. I rarely get staph. I've definitely gotten it in the past. I rarely get staph. I get ringworm every so often. It happens. There's just, how many hours of the year are we rolling on the mat? It's going to happen, okay? So I don't wear long pants and I don't wear long sleeves. I used to, and I sometimes still do. Sometimes, rarely, okay? But I used to wear it all the time. I don't. I always wear a shirt and shorts. That's it. I think staph on your arms and staph on your legs can happen for sure. But it's we used to do a practice where we used to wrestle a few rounds, and then we take our shirts off. Why? The reason why we took off our shirts is because we want to mimic the how slippery it gets in a fight. Because when you're really fighting in MMA in the later rounds, it can get ridiculously difficult to control a sweaty opponent. So we wanted to mimic that in practice. But the problem, we had to stop. Why? Because people were getting ringworm and staph. And the Tristar Gym, we mop the floors after every practice. We mop the mats after every practice. We have a germ solution that's made just for wrestling mats, and we mop the entire gym I even put a camera in the gym. This is how serious it is, okay? I put a camera in the gym to make sure that the employees mop the mats after practice. So periodically, the manager of the gym will check if they mopped it properly. Okay, so he'll put it in fast forward. He'll make sure that the whole mat surface has been mopped. The guy didn't miss the octagon. He didn't miss a corner. He didn't just do halfway. That's how serious we take it at the gym. Why? Because if somebody gets staph, boom, it's wildfire. If somebody in the gym gets staph, it's very important that person doesn't wrestle or sweat on the mats. Stop wrestling. You can work out on the bag. You can do your weights. No skin. Your skin cannot touch anything in the gym. We have to what's it called? Quarantine you until you've healed. Okay, so this is very dangerous stuff because you could spread it, and this stuff can get out of control. It can. Okay, some people get hospitalized. Some people need operations. I've never seen it that far in my gym. Okay, I've never seen it go that far. But I've heard wrestling clubs, or I've heard professional fighters, the staff got so bad, it was so vicious, it was so dangerous that he needed a surgery. Now we've had one or two guys need like real treatment, like they had to get like an IV and take it to the hospital and they had to get monitored. But a full blown surgery, I don't think we've ever had that. I can't remember now, but I don't think we've ever had that. Gym owners, make sure your mats are mopped every single corner. Don't use Javex. Use the mat solutions. Buy a mat solutions from a real pro. I used to use Javex. What do you call that? Is it Javex? Yeah, it's Javex. I don't know if in America what they call it, but we call it Javex. I think we call it Javex. What is it? Bleach. You guys call it bleach, yeah? The thing is, it destroyed my mats. It just ate up my mats. So instead we bought a solution. Now, most important thing, shower after practice. Okay, I got a bunch of super chats. Ali Wazati, you didn't post a question, bud. Fernando Antonio, coach, when will you expand on Judo Ashiwaza foot technique used by Jason Morris, also effective use by Khabib in MMA? Guys, I did a whole seminar with Jason Morris, and then I put a highlight video of Jason Morris's material, very brief. Of course, it's his material. I cannot do a breakdown in his material. I have to respect the fact that that's his game. That's how he teaches it. I've went to his club to learn it firsthand. I have a few great judokas in my gym also that do the same kind of thing. Guys, if you want to learn Jason Morris's system, Google him. Okay, he's a phenomenal guy. Go visit Jason Morris. But unfortunately, I cannot air his content online. My gym is very strict about the mat. That's excellent. Any info on book? What book are you referring to? Hi, coach. How do you deal with shoulder injuries and dislocations? Do you prefer surgery right away after that? Thanks. Well, you got to refer to a doctor. And I've seen shoulders get dislocated in the gym. And I could tell you guys horror stories. I've had to pop in a few shoulders, and the reason why I did it is because the person in pain was telling me that this happened to them before and I need to act now and pop it back in. And I was like, whoa. I'm not trained to do this. And the person was like, do it. I'm in a lot of pain. You're gonna relieve me of my pain. So look, I did what they told me. They told me to grab the arm, pull it, twist it here and pop right back in. And the guy had dislocated his arm maybe 20 times in his life. And I've had to do this on more than one occasion, only because the person asked me to pop their arm back in. And believe me, I didn't want to have to do it. Now, I've dislocated my fingers and popped my own finger back in. Me and one of my students, once upon a time, I dislocated my fingers, like they were really like sideways, like completely sideways. Okay, this finger was completely sideways. Like I'm telling you, I don't even want to describe it. And I couldn't pop it in because it was so sweaty. I grabbed the shirt and one of my students pulled one way, I pulled another, and it popped back in. Now, I'll tell you something. It was painful, but I taped my fingers, I taped them together, and I kept doing like a flow roll. I kept flowing. I was in a lot of pain, guys. It was painful. But after it popped back in, it wasn't so bad. I put it back in, kept rolling, taped it up, kept rolling. And it's not the same with shoulder. Shoulder, you can't keep rolling. Do you need surgery? You need to go talk to an expert. Go talk to an expert and get an opinion on I think everybody's situation will probably be different. And when you talk to your doctor, he'll give you the best advice. But also, sometimes doctors just play it safe. They just play it safe and they're going to tell you, they're probably, a lot of times when I talk to doctors who don't know jiu-jitsu, they'll be like, okay, you have an injury. Here's how to fix it. Don't do that anymore. It's like, dude, I'm not going to stop wrestling. Like, I don't care what they tell me. But anyways, that's just me, not medical advice. What else we got here? Guys, for philosophy questions and stuff like that, let's do that at the end. Okay, let's bank in a good 45 minutes of mixed martial arts, MMA training stuff, and then we can talk about other matters. Have fun with that. Okay, CrossFit training for Muay Thai. CrossFit training for Muay Thai. Listen, I think I like CrossFit's philosophies. I don't follow it personally because I think a lot of things I could do without. For Muay Thai, I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's bad. I think there are things that are better. But if you're gonna do CrossFit for Muay Thai, don't exert yourself to a maximum. Okay, so when you do CrossFit, don't try to don't go in your CrossFit workout. Don't try to don't give a 100% effort. Give about a 65 to a 90% effort. Fluctuate between that range. You'll be good. Okay, so if let's say the workout is I don't know, 10 push-ups, 10 burpees, 10 air squats for 1 10-minute rounds, as many rounds as possible. Okay, good workout. Nothing wrong with that. It's good general physical preparation. However, don't try to do as many rounds as possible, literally. Do 70% to 90% to 75%. Fluctuate depending on how you feel. Try to work out so you don't create soreness the next day. The next day you should be able to train again. Okay, you should feel maybe a little bit of soreness is normal. A little bit of soreness is okay, but don't wake up the next day feeling like you got hit by a truck. Okay, wake up the next day feeling good, feeling better than you were the day before. Try to build momentum, and then once in a while hit it hard. Once in a while hit it hard, set a new PR, and then go back to cycling back up. Go back to 65, 75, 80%, 65, 75, 80%. And then once in a while, after 3-4 weeks of that, boom, hit a nice hard workout. Okay. And I personally don't even do that often. I'll hit a hard workout, like a PR. I'll do that every 5-6 months. It doesn't need to be done on a regular basis. That's just my opinion. The other thing is don't do Olympic lifting for time. So don't do clean and jerk 30 times, as fast as you can. Clean and jerk 135 pounds 30 times as fast as you can. No, don't do that. Okay, Olympic lifting, deadlifting, snatch is not meant to be done for time. It's not meant to be rushed. Okay, it's a precise movement. It's not an endurance exercise. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're training CrossFit. What else we got here? I don't have a lot of time for MMA training. What is the best thing to focus on for a minimalist training, striking and BJJ, for example? What kinds of key things should I master? Well, that's a great question. Okay, look, this is what I would do. I would do the minimum, the baseline for self-defense, in my opinion, is jiu-jitsu. Okay, this is my opinion. Why? Because if striking is better for multiple attackers, but in my opinion, if you're training part-time and you're attacked by multiple guys, odds are it's not going to work. Whatever I give you is not going to work. Okay, unless you're fighting a bunch of really weak guys and you're super athletic and they're really weak. Okay, but the odds of you fighting off 3-4 guys at once is not pretty. Okay, the odds are not great. Now, excuse me. With that said, do BJJ 2-3 times a week. If you're not able to get on the mats on a regular basis, you got other things going on in your life, fine. Then for your cardio, I think everybody has to do some kind of cardiovascular exercise. In my opinion, you should do interval training, bag circuits. Okay, bag circuits are super important. Dutch drill, type up Dutch drill, find a good bag. 1 2 3 right kick, 1 2 left kick, 1 2 3 right kick, 1 2 left kick. At least you're learning how to punch and kick. You do that for 2 minutes, take 45 seconds off, 2 minutes, 45 seconds off, 2 minutes, 45 seconds off. It's great cardio. It's intense, it's short, it's a sprint, it's low impact, high plyometric, it's ballistic, it's everything. It's everything you need. So I really like the Dutch drill. You could do also punching intervals. I mean, there's just so many ways to get good cardio on the bag. And then at the same time, you're kind of hitting 2 birds with 1 stone because you're doing your cardio and you're also punching and kicking. And even though maybe you're not technically 100% sound, it doesn't matter. Go watch a YouTube tutorial about how to punch, how to hook, how to kick. And just watch it over and over, and you'll perfect your technique over time. You'll become more and more efficient over time. And again, this is not a professional fighter, right? I wouldn't train a professional fighter like this, but somebody who just wants to know the basics. You're saying you're a minimalist, you have a small amount of time for it. Do it this way. Do jiu-jitsu, and instead of running for cardio or sprinting for cardio, do bag intervals. And I'm sure you can find plenty of different ways to do bag intervals on YouTube. What else we got here? How do you stay loose on the mats? I find I tense up and use too much energy. Well, that's probably inexperience, or the person you're rolling with is just a lot better than you. So sometimes, listen, when I'm rolling with somebody, okay, look, I've trained a lot of times with really, really world class, like amazing, like the top jiu-jitsu guys. I've been fortunate, okay? Don't take this as name dropping. I've just been fortunate to roll with like a Hodger Gracie. Hodger's a lot bigger, more technical, more intelligent, more experienced. He's more everything than me. When it comes to jiu-jitsu, like he's a black belt, I'm a blue belt. And I literally feel like a blue belt. Like I'm telling you guys, there's no right answer. Whatever I try, I'm going to get swept. Whatever I try to, it's just, he's just another level. And of course he's bigger and this and that, but he's also a lot more knowledgeable and experienced. Now, when you're rolling with a guy like that, what can you do? I don't try to fight for my life. I just kind of do my best and I watch what he's doing and I learn. That's it. Like I give him the match he wants and I give him the resistance. I fight back for sure, but I'm really studying what he's doing and why is it like, how did he stop my go-to move? I'm doing my go-to move and he crushed it. Well, how? How did that go? And I think it's just the right attitude. When you roll with somebody who's just a lot better than you, don't get into a fight. Roll, but also observe, and you'll get a lot better this way, in my opinion. It's just really observation. What do you eat for breakfast? Well, let me tell you guys. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, guys. I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to grab my new book that I got today. Okay. Now it's Living Lean, Mike Doce, Living Lean. And listen, I spent 48 hours with the guy just talking about how to eat. And he really changed my point of view on things. If you guys didn't see our episode, we did an episode recently. It's a really good book. And listen, I've been losing weight already. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I lost a little bit of weight already. And basically we're eating whole foods. And the breakfast is really, really, it's awesome. The Doce breakfast is really awesome. He does a breakfast bowl. Okay, so there's a variety of ways you can spice it up. But what I've been doing is this, real simple. I've been having this every single morning. You take your oats, you put almond milk, you put it in the fridge. The next day it's going to be cooked. Okay, the almond milk is going to soak up the almond milk. It's going to be really mushy. It's going to be really, really awesome. Then you have to sweeten this. You could sweeten it in a variety of ways. Okay, you can put berries. They also put flax seeds, raisins. You could put honey. You could put maple syrup. You can add the sweetener you want. Okay, but I eat those oats. And I'm telling you, I don't eat a lot. It's not that much. But there's a lot of energy in it. And it digests super well. And it keeps me super full. Like, I go to the gym. I work out. I don't feel anything bouncing around. Like, when I have eggs, I need a little bit of time before practice. Because those eggs are going to bounce around. Okay? The oatmeal, I don't feel is the same. I feel, for me personally, the oatmeal just gets really well digested. Like, it's just not a problem. I sometimes, when I'm in a rush, I just take the dates. I take the dates on the go, dry dates. I always have a box full of organic dry dates. This is, again, sugary, high carb. I'm going to work out, right? Don't forget, guys, I'm working out. I have these carbs because I end up practice. I need that sugar. I need to burn it. And then I need it to be really easy to digest. I don't want it bouncing around in my stomach and making me feel sick. I'll also have water and coffee. Now, I don't think coffee has anything to do with your performance. I just love coffee, but water is very important. Have the water, have the oats or the dates. I don't think anything beats that. I think that's my ultimate breakfast. You could sweeten it in a variety of ways. Now, I just got the book today, but I spent so many days talking. Well, it was probably like 3 days. We were talking about food. And this book is full of recipes that I really look forward to. Now, I also make pancakes. On the Doce diet, you can have pancakes. Last night, I made pancakes. What did I put in it? This is really like one of my favorite recipes, okay? I put oats, banana, dates, and 2 eggs, okay? Blend that up, pancakes, and you put maple syrup. Amazing. Really, really amazing. I also made my own ice cream last week, and I was loving it, okay? So whole food. Remember, it's always whole foods. The Doce diet is all about earth-grown foods. You don't eat anything processed. So what did I do? I made ice cream. Frozen bananas. You take 4 frozen bananas. You put peanut butter. It's funny because I was just telling the guys in the gym about this today. I'm telling you, I ate this ice cream and I was loving it. Just like real ice cream. Better than real ice cream. Better than real ice cream. I put 4 bananas, peanut butter, 4 frozen bananas, peanut butter, blend that up. And then I sweetened it. I put honey and raisins. Weird, I know. I put honey, raisins, boom. It was amazing. Delicious, super delicious. I'm actually looking forward to doing it again. I don't have any bananas. I'm probably going to buy some bananas tomorrow, freeze them, and make a huge tub of it. Keep it in the freezer. And when I have that sweet craving, that craving for sweets, get that peanut butter banana ice cream. Top it off any which way you want, guys. You can top it off in a variety of ways. You could put whatever you want to sweeten it with. But when you sweeten it, you have to sweeten it with a whole food. Okay, nothing processed. What else we got here? I'd eat you. James, behave yourself, please. You're gonna get timed out. What else we got here? Does sex affect fighting performance? Well, listen, this is a very popular question. I don't believe it does, to be honest with you. I think if you know, some people are like, some fighters are like, oh, I'm not gonna have sex for 2 months before. You know, I'm not gonna have sex with my wife or girlfriend or whatever it is for 2 months before. I think that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't affect your fight. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Test it out. Does it affect your sparring? I mean, I think it's a bit of a myth, because fighters would go out and look for women and spend nights up late and wasting their time and energy through the whole social process. That's a bad idea, in my opinion. However, the physical act itself, I don't think takes more than a few hours to recover. I wouldn't do it within the 24-hour, 48-hour window. I think you should get in the zone, you know, like just stay away from it. Not because there's a physical component, just because the mind, where's your mind right now? You know, your mind should be on your fight, cutting weight, etc. Plus you're cutting weight, for goodness sake. Why would you, just leave the body, give the body the minimum amount of things to do. Okay, guys, we got a couple super chats here. Coach, I started the Dolce diet, but the diet is on my mind all the time and hinders my focus at uni. How do I stop from being obsessed with when dieting? What do you mean by exactly? AC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you mean it's always on? Are you saying food is always on your mind and you're having a hard time focusing? Well, listen, you can eat as much as you want. Okay, so look, here's what I suggest. When you're on the whole foods, okay, so you're eating ground grown foods, okay, so whole foods. You're not eating anything processed. First step, just convert to eating whole foods. Don't worry about minimizing your intake. That'll come later, okay? If you want to get a little extra more, if you want to get more lean, you're gonna have to shorten your portions. We're gonna have to lower the amount of food you're taking in temporarily, okay? Don't worry about that now. Now eat as much as you want, but make sure everything is whole foods. We're going to retrain your palate to only love whole foods. Find interesting. For me, it's a sweet tooth. So for me, I need some kind of whole food dessert. And that ice cream really does it for me. You know, so, we have whole food cookies. We have whole food type. I got a whole book of recipes I'm going to look through. For me, those pancakes, those whole food pancakes, really, I don't crave any more sugar. I don't want a Kit Kat bar. I don't want to, exactly. For those of you who don't know, I like Kit Kat. You know, the chocolate bar. I love Kit Kat. I haven't eaten Kit Kat in quite a while. And now that I'm doing Whole Foods, I don't feel like I need one. I don't walk by the store and like, let me go grab a Kit Kat. I don't do that. I feel like, okay, I'll have my sweets the natural way, and it kills my cravings personally. It's been working for me. So if you mean that, or if you mean you're missing something, like on the Dolce diet, you can eat potatoes. Like today, I'm going to cut up a few potatoes. I'm going to boil them and I'm going to eat them. I love carbohydrates, guys. It makes me feel satisfied. I'm going to have a steak, potatoes, and those are whole foods. I can have them. I don't feel restricted. Now, 2 days ago, I cut up a few potatoes. I put a little coconut oil. I put the potatoes, I put the fries. I cut them like fries, and I cooked them in coconut oil. And they were amazing. Okay, I was eating fries, and again, I ate a steak. Okay, guys, I'm doing it. I'm overdoing it with the red meat, but it's barbecue season. Canada, we don't have barbecue season for very long. We only have it for a few months. So it's barbecue season, guys. So I'm eating a little bit more meat than I should. Okay, but actually that day I had steak. Yesterday I had chicken. Today I'm having steak again. Again, guys, barbecue season. Can't say no. I hope that answers your question. What else we got here? Mars chocolate bar is better. You're crazy. You're just totally crazy. Kit Kat is Kit Kat and a coffee, nobody can touch it. How do you deal with Toriando passer? Well, listen, guys, that's a great question. Fantastic question. I think I'm going to be shooting the lockdown, reverse del Riva. I'm going to be doing the lockdown video again, a second video this weekend. I think I'm shooting it this weekend. So hopefully next week, the lockdown video will be up. The video after that, the one I'm going to do after that is going to be guard pass prevention. Because for me, that's, I think, is the most important. Jiu-jitsu is not fun when you're getting smashed. So if you're going to the gym and half the time you're just getting smashed and it's not fun. The fun part of jiu-jitsu is being able to flow and transition. Me, when I hit a transition, I'm happy. I just feel great. I have this effect of happiness. Okay, so if I'm being smashed, I didn't enjoy my roll. So I think your guard has to be one of those guards. Everybody should have one of those guards that is just incredibly hard to pass. So I'm going to dedicate a video just on this. And I promise you guys, the guys who are going to get this video, the guard pass prevention video, it's going to be material you haven't seen before. And your guard pass prevention is going to explode at least 20% after you watch the video. You're going to have to go drill it. After you watch the video, you go drill it 2-3 times. And then right away, boom, you have a 20% increase of your guard. Okay, so I don't get my guard pass very often. It does happen once in a while. It does. And it has to be like a black belt who's like, we've been wrestling for a while and he'll pass my guard. I don't get my guard pass very often. And I think that's such an important part of grappling. Your guard should not get passed, man. I'm telling you, if you're a black belt, the lower belts should not pass your guard. It should happen rarely. Only other black belts should pass your guard once in a while. If you're getting your guard pass on a regular basis, you need to stop everything you're doing and focus on your guard pass prevention. Guard pass prevention is numero uno, in my opinion. How many days a week should a purple belt train in order to create consistency and building longevity in MMA? Well, it's a very different question for everybody, because how much training can you tolerate? So I personally believe you should get in the rhythm of training every day. So let's say you have 7 hours in you. Okay, 7 hours in you of training. If you trained 8, you'd be sore. You'd be like, your machine is breaking down. We have to build to 8, 10, 20, 30 hours a week. We have to build to that. Okay, we can't just go from a small level of training experience to a high level. We need to build to a high level of training experience. Okay, because the more trained you are, the more you can resist, the more you can tolerate higher levels of training, greater volumes or higher intensities. Okay, so if somebody's new, they just walked in on their first day in the mat, I don't expect them to do a full practice the way George St. Pierre does it. We have to build to that level, because for George, 2 practices a day, each practice lasting from 1.5 hours to 3 hours is nothing. It's not going to create soreness and pain. It's not. You take a regular Joe off the street, you try to make him do what George does, the guy's going to be in the hospital. You're going to put the guy in the hospital. So let's say you only have 7 hours of training in you in a week. You only have 7 hours. Okay, let's call it a moderate level of intensity. You have 7 hours. I would tell you, look, do those 7 hours, but don't do it 3.5 hours on one day and then 3.5 hours on the other. I would say try to do 1 hour a day. Okay, maybe let's make it 1 hour and 25 minutes a day and then have a day off or two on the weekend. Okay, I'm good with 1 or 2 days off a week. I think the body needs at least 1 day off, sometimes 2. Okay, on your day off, I like to do mobility. Okay, so I'm always preaching the supple leopard. I'll let you guys off today. I'm not going to talk about it today, but it's a great book. I do my mobility on my off day. There's no stressing the nervous system. There's no stressing the musculature, the body. It just comes some nice mobility work. Think about stretching. Okay, so it's an off day. But I prefer a daily punch-in. Why? I find that the guys who do it that way get way better, because their system is fresh. Okay, they're coming in every day and their system is staying fresh, and they're working in the long run. They're going to get better longer, because when you're doing those intense workouts, you're flirting with danger. Okay, you're flirting with getting injured, popping a something. You want to be on the mat and hear a popping sound. It's never good. Okay, so let's try to aim for consistency over intensity. Over under pass for MMA. I like it. It does happen. You do see it every so often. But you know what? The thing is that the ground and pound sometimes is just easier to do. The guy's there, you hit him. But you've seen some nice, like Jacare did some beautiful passes in MMA. You do see it every so often. It's fantastic. I love the 70% theory. Well, thank you, my man. Cambo, appreciate that. And don't forget, 70% is just it's an average gauge. You can go to 90, not every day. Try to go between 65 and 90. When you're going to 95 and 100, you're really like, you want to do that once in a blue moon, okay? Just once in a while. For us, do you think the reverse de la Riva is a good guard to play in sport BJJ against bigger opponents? Absolutely. It's one of the most powerful guards. I mean, look at, for instance, Rafa Mendes. Rafa Mendes is a 6-time world champion, and he plays the de la Riva. He's the king of de la Riva. I've got the pleasure to roll with him a few years back. I mean, his de la Riva is serious business, and he does regular de la Riva and reverse de la Riva. So definitely, no doubt about it. Yes. Coach, how do you maintain daily discipline? That's a great one. Faraz Imbasat, my man. Daily discipline. Well, listen, this is how it is, okay? Training has to be addictive, okay? You have to... How do people get fat? Well, they go in a restaurant, they eat food. The food is enjoyable. And it's not hard to say yes to some more because it was fun. It was enjoyable. I sat down, I had steak, I had potatoes. And unless I'm totally stuffed, every bite is enjoyment. After I'm stuffed, okay, I can't eat anymore. I passed the point where it's enjoyable. But training can be the same way. When I go in the training room and I start training, there's a point where you get high. You feel like high levels of energy. You feel like, wow, you feel more alert. You feel better than when you started working out. So I love to do this in the morning. I take my bag, I take my gloves, I go on the bag, I start working the bag. There's a point where I start feeling I feel that energy grew. So if I was a 7 before I went in, 7 on 10 of energy, 10 being like super high and alert. And when I get to 8, 8.2, 8.3, I cut the workout. That's it. Stop the workout while you're feeling good. Don't go till you're feeling drained and then you take your shower and you go home and you're like, whoa, I need a nap. I'm drained. Don't go to that point. Go and feel good. Chat with your buddies. Talk. Hey, what's going on? How are you? Did you guys ever see a Floyd Mayweather workout? Floyd Mayweather's been working out since he could walk. Okay, don't forget, this guy went to the University of Boxing. He didn't go to school like you and me. Okay, he went to boxing. He grew up in boxing. Okay. For him to go in and do a workout maybe is a little bit boring because he's done it a million times. What does he do? He brings his whole crew. They're talking, they're joking, they're laughing, they're putting music, they're dancing, they're doing... Why? They're making it's a party. You understand? Now, I'm not saying you have to go to that extent, but when you go to the gym, you should like the people you're training with. Okay? It's still with seriousness. Like when I go to practice, it's still very serious, but you like the people you're training with. They're not trying to hurt you. They're your friends. They're buddies. We go to eat after. We hang out. We joke around. We're friendly with one another. I like to go to the gym. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I have a wife and kids. After they come home from school, I feed them, I hang out with them, I train my kids, I sit with my wife, I chat with her, but I can't sit home and watch TV. For me, it's too boring. I train my kids, I take care of them, we hang out, but then I go to the gym. That's my fun time. That's where I hang out with my friends. We wrestle, we spar, we go over chokeholds, we chill. Then I go home, shower, eat, sleep, whatever. But that's my fun time. Guys, you got to find something you like. It might not be jiu-jitsu, it might not be MMA, but find something you absolutely love. I don't care if it's racquetball, soccer. It shouldn't be a matter of discipline. It shouldn't be a matter of cracking the whip. Now, that's for fighters, okay? That's for fighters who have to push further, and they've reached a point where they want to go home. They've had enough, but we're going to keep training, and we're doing it because we need to hit new levels. This is not for the everyday Joe. You don't have to train through the pain. Okay, don't go to the gym and destroy the body. Go to the gym and build the body. That's a great way to think about it. Okay, don't break down the body in the gym. Build the body. Have fun, enjoyment, and guess what? When you enjoy something, you do it more often. Okay, it shouldn't be hard to go to the gym. Find the gym you love to go to. Find a friend you love to train with. Find a gym that's it. When the teacher's teaching you something, you're mesmerized. When I go train with John Denahar and he teaches me something, I'm locked in, man. I'm like, wow, what is that? I'm so fascinated. If you're with your instructor and he's boring you. The stuff he's showing you is the same thing all the time, and it's just not interesting. This may kill your drive. Motivation is key when it comes to training, guys. Motivation is monstrously important. Monstrously important. Okay, so with that said, we're 40 minutes in. Okay, guys, if you want to ask your crazy philosophical questions, go ahead. Now we've banked in 40 minutes of training talk. Traditional or infrared sauna? I like traditional. I know infrared's like really good as well. I personally just like traditional. I haven't done any studies on this, guys. I know people say that, look, infrared, you can stay in longer, you sweat more, it's actually more efficient. And it may be. I'm not a big sauna guy. I do it once in a while. I do enjoy it, but I like the traditional one. What do we got here? Okay, these are really like out of this world questions. Keep it a little more basic, boys, guys. Maybe I shouldn't open this can of worms. All right, let's bring it back down to one or two levels, guys. Can you talk about The Last Man? That's a great one. Okay, let's talk about The Last Man. If you guys don't know, I did a little video on The Last Man. Medicine for the Last Man. I believe it was called Medicine for the Last Man. Check it out. It's in the video playlist. Okay, check out Medicine for the Last Man. It's a little speech I gave. And what is the last man? Well, look, Nietzsche tells us, he gave us a concept of the last man. Now, the last man is kind of the opposite of the Ubermensch. You know, you have the Ubermensch, okay? The man who's going to be the most, how would we say, independent, the most strong-willed, the most initiative person that there is. Okay, that's the Uberman. And I know that's a definition in a nutshell. There's a lot more to the Ubermensch. Okay, the Ubermensch is a reaction to what Nietzsche said was going to be a necessary solution. We need to find a solution for people who are going to start becoming more and more atheism. Atheism is going to be more and more rampant. The industrial age is upon us. Nietzsche famously said, God is dead. And what he meant by that, they say, is that more and more people are going to become atheists. More and more people are going to become atheists. What's going to happen when you become atheist? You're going to start becoming a nihilist. You're going to be faced with the idea of nihilism, and nihilism is going to drive you nuts. Okay, this is how I understood Nietzsche. Okay, I'm not an expert in Nietzsche. I didn't focus a lot on Nietzsche, even though I did definitely read up on Nietzsche. I didn't focus a lot on Nietzsche. Okay, I was more into Greek philosophy, no doubt. Now, the last man is the complete opposite of that. Well, what is the last man? Well, the last man is the guy whose life is getting really cushy. Why? Because, okay, technology is coming, and a lot of you might think he was foretelling the postmodern age. Look, your parents were broke when they came here. They were pioneers. They worked hard. They scratched and clawed their way to the top. They freed themselves from poverty and starvation. Now they have assets. They have a house. They have a business. They hand it down to you, and you work hard and you do well. But you're not working as hard as them because they set you up. They sent you to school. Now you have an education. And then the third generation comes around, and then you're even richer because when your parents died, they left you an inheritance. And the wealth kind of snowballs. The wealth and technology is snowballing. And what happens, you have this one generation who's going to be really, really soft. Now, I'm paraphrasing it. I'm putting it in a nutshell. You're going to have one generation that's going to be very, very soft. And there's a lot to know about this, okay? Politicians, first of all, they're going to want you to make you as independent as possible. Okay, so you're going to give them your vote. They're going to get your vote, and they're going to give you all the social benefits you want. And now you're independent. You are now a dependent on them. Don't forget, the Ubermensch is completely independent. The last man is dependent. Okay, he's living on a silk pillow. He's that fat cat on a silk pillow. He's the guy who didn't build this society. He's the guy who's spoiled. Think about the last man as a spoiled, slightly privileged, overly privileged person. Now, what's going to happen when we become the last man? Well, that's a long story, and there are many thinkers who chimed in on this. Okay, and even Socrates touched on this, and the idea is that when you have a lot of leisure time, when you have a lot of time on your hands, okay. You could start thinking a lot. You're going to start thinking about a lot of topics that your parents, your forefathers didn't have time to think about. Why? Because they were trying to win wars and pioneer a state. And and build wealth. And starvation was a real issue. I'm talking about generations back. Okay, they had they were lower on the hierarchy of needs. Abraham's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They weren't worried about social media. They were worried about life and death, survival. Okay, establishing a society. Now the new age, generations later, the more privileged. Okay, let's call them more privileged. They have a completely different attitude towards life. Completely different attitude, and we have Nietzsche who commented on that, and he referred to them as the last man. Why? Because after the last man, what happens? That's why he calls him the last man. Now, I don't know if you guys ever heard about the rat utopia. It's really interesting. Let me see if I can Google it. Now, the rat utopia, the last man is the beautiful ones. It's kind of an interesting experiment that kind of highlights. Let's see here, rat utopia. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, no, sorry. It's the mouse utopia. Really interesting experiment. All right, let me see here if I can play it for you guys. Actually, I probably won't even be able to play it. Let's see here. Screen capture. Let me see if I can play it for you guys. Screen capture, yep. New one. The mouse utopia. Fascinating. All right, I think I did it. Boom. Let's see if it pops up. There it is. Okay, let me just all right, you guys are gonna see this. I'm gonna play this now. It's gonna take me 5 more seconds. All right, let's play Mouse Utopia. You guys, I think, are gonna like this. All right. Boom. Here's Mouse Utopia. I hope there's sound. Oh no. There's me and my button pushing skills. All right, hopefully the sound is playing. Let me know if the sound is playing. I don't even know how to play the sound. All right, guys, I'll let you guys find it on your own. Mouse Utopia. I totally messed this up. My apologies. I should have tested it before. My bad. Guys, check out Mouse Utopia. It's kind of like experiment for the last man. It's kind of funny. At the end, you get the beautiful ones. I won't spoil it for you guys. Check out the beautiful ones, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about that experiment? What else we got here? Yeah, sorry guys, it paused. I know I couldn't get it to work. I don't know. I'm still new to the software. White belt in computers, absolutely correct. Seminolex. You know me well. If you haven't been on this episode before, I've made it a thing now. I'm always screwing up the button pushing. Total white belt. What else we got here? Hey coach, what are your top 5 must reads? Wow, that's such a great question. It's a question I get. It's a question I get all the time. What are your favorite books? I always feel like I cannot narrow them down. Now, can you pick a topic? Because I just honestly cannot narrow them down. If you pick a topic, it'll be a lot easier for me to answer. Zahabi, what is your take on mental strength and overcoming judgment of others? Well, that's a great topic. But listen, I'm going to talk about this topic, and I'll tell you why. I think it's so important. Because in today's day and age, everybody's so offended all the time. Everybody is so offended all the time. It's really getting out of control. Now, here's my take on it. Okay, let's say I'm walking down the street and somebody looks at me and says, "Hey, you're an Arab terrorist, FYZ, whatever." Okay, which is, believe it or not, it's happened to me. I know, it's weird, but believe it. It happens. Okay, so what do you do? What do you do? Do you get angry? Do you get upset? I personally don't get upset. And what do? I tell myself, look, that guy has a problem. He's ignorant. He's whatever he is. Okay, he's prejudiced. He's all these things. I don't suffer from that. If I did, I don't think that would improve my life. I feel sorry for him. He has to go through life with these, how do you say, what do you call them? These vices. Let's call them a vice, okay? And now we all have a level of it. We all have ignorance. We're all, nobody knows everything, etc. But this guy would be displaying a level of ignorance that's shocking. It's just like pathetic. Let's call it pathetic. Now, what do? I ignore them. I avoid them. I do everything I can not to cross paths with these people. But if we do cross paths, he might find himself in danger, because I'm the type of guy, I'll walk away from you. But if you follow me and you harass me, well, then, you're probably going to have a very bad day. You're probably going to have a very, very bad day. Why? Because I feel that this is a threat. It becomes a threat to me. Like, I have my space, you have your space. I'm trying to avoid you. I know people out there, they're racist. I know people out there are bigots. I know there are people out there that have their vices and they have to go throughout life. Life is going to teach them a lesson here and there. And I think, over time, vices are bad for you. So I'm just worried about whatever vices I have. And I have my own personal vices that I have to struggle with. So when I see somebody, I'll be honest with you, when somebody does something ignorant or bad, I always ask myself, what have I done like that in the past? And I can always find an example where I might have been in the wrong. Okay, I have been in the wrong. And that's it. I just focus on me. I just want to eliminate all my vices. Why? I really believe that a good person, you cannot harm them. You just cannot harm them. It's really all your harm that ever came to you in your life. This is my narrative. This is a narrative that I live by. Is due to one personal vice of many. Okay, so one vice will bring you some harm over time. So how many vices do you have? Well, we have countless. All of us have countless vices. And we have to weed them out. And I'm just focused on weeding out my vices, weeding out my ignorance, weeding out my bad habits, weeding out my bad thoughts. That guy has to take care of himself. I can't take care of him. I got too many of my own to deal with. I think that's a really important attitude. Because if somebody were to come up to me and insult me, and they're not in my private space, I don't feel I have to defend myself physically, I just ignore them. But it does happen that I lose my temper and talk back. That does happen. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect. Like I said, I'm full of vices. But I hope that in the future I'll always avoid that as much as possible. I don't want to end up in prison or, the matter is going to escalate. Try to avoid all this, guys. Try to avoid it all at all costs. Avoid this at all costs. It's not worth it. And at the end of the day, that guy's just got his own personal problems. He's just projecting his own self-hatred. He's projecting his own. Anyways, this is the narrative I live by because, especially when you go to different areas, like in Canada, it's very safe. It's weird, but Canada is very polite, very kind, very friendly. People here are generally very, very nice in Canada. When you go to other countries, I'm not going to name which country, but there are some countries out there that are more like, and countries are big and there's a variety of people, there's a variety of cultures out there. Other cultures, sometimes I'm surprised how people don't have the courtesy that I'm used to here in Canada. And it's surprising to me, but then I have to remind myself, not everybody has the same culture, not everybody has the same point of views, etc. So that's how I deal with that. I just ignore them. I feel sorry for them. I think that it's a personal setback for them personally in their own life. How to have a good character? Well, that's a great question. That's a tough one. I think a lot of self-examination. Everything that somebody were to do to offend you or annoy you, ask yourself, did I ever do that to someone else? How do I want other people to treat me? That's how I should treat everybody. Do I live up to that standard? I think it's a very important question. Somebody who's very sincere in their life is going to ask themselves all the time. If somebody offends you, ask yourself, have I ever done this to someone else? And I bet you, if you think really hard, you're going to find an instance where you were on the flip side. You had offended somebody, you probably didn't know it, and that person felt that certain way. I think this is very important. A type of empathy, a universal empathy for everyone. For us, I want to read more, but I get bored sitting still. Please advise. Well, Ishak, I do a lot of audiobooks. I don't know why people don't do audiobooks. Audiobooks is so much better. Now I got thousands of audiobooks. Like I'm a huge audiobook fan. You know, I just bought like 5 yesterday. I buy them all the time. I collect them, and I don't. Sometimes I buy a book. I don't read it for months. I don't listen to it for months. But I have it, and when I feel like I want to read it, when I feel like I want to listen to it, it's there. So look what I bought yesterday. Yesterday I bought Carl Jung's Modern Man in Search of Soul. Carl Jung, in his own words, 100 quotes by Carl Jung. I'm getting into the Jung stuff lately. The Book of Why. David Hume's Understanding Human Understanding. I mean, I just got countless books. What else we got here? Genghis Khan's biography. Turning Points in Modern History. I mean, just whatever it is that you're in the mood to listen to, boom, you have it. You know, I don't limit my budget on books. If I want a book, I buy it. I don't think about it twice. I don't care if it's $50, $30, $10. I buy it. Even if I'm not going to listen to it for another month from now, doesn't matter. Whatever I'm in the mood for, I need to have it on my phone. I'm ready to listen. And I find I get a lot of audio time doing that. Okay, so if you're bored, sitting still, put audio. I do it when I'm driving, when I'm cooking, when I'm doing whatever. The earphones are always in my ear. If you guys know me personally, you know I always have earphones on me. Always. I have like 10 different pair of earphones. I have every type. Why? Because I do countless hours of audiobook. What else we got here? We're almost out of time. Do you know about Indian philosophy? Well, I've come across it listen, I'm in university. I've only done one class on Hinduism. Unfortunately, I only got one. Okay, now I know it's a very profound religion. I know it's a very profound thought system. I just personally have not delved into it. I'm sure in my life I will study the Hindu tradition. No doubt about it. Hey, Coach, what are your top 5 must-reads? Religion, philosophy, economy, sports, health, politics. Dude, throw one topic, please. That's the whole point of my question, asking you to give me a topic. Because if you ask me everything, I just can't. There's just too many great books for me to go for. What do you think about Ibn Arabi? I've been recently reading his material. I think he's phenomenal, fantastic. But I also think there are very few people who could actually understand him. He is extremely profound. He's really, really difficult to read. Read a book on commentary, at least commentary. You just don't try to read his material directly. It's very, very profound stuff. What else we got here? All right. What else we got here? You should do a philosophy podcast, guys. I really want to do one. I think I'm going to do one episode every so often. But the problem is every time I do something with philosophy, I get a flood of messages, like a flood. And I just can't answer them all, and I can't follow up. MMA is really taking up a lot of my time. And just doing a separate show would be just too crazy for me. It would just be too much time. I got a wife, kids. I got to, my day is just too jam-packed. So unfortunately, it's going to have to wait till maybe in the future. But I'm thinking about releasing just 1 or 2 thought-provoking episodes. That's really what it is. I just want to send out 1 or 2 thought-provoking episodes, but I fear that I'm going to get pulled into the whole philosophy podcast world. All right, here we go. Boom. What are your top 5 Greek philosophy books? Well, I have many favorite philosophy books. Now, they're probably going to be all Plato, okay? But that's because we don't have the works of the pre-Socratics. My favorite pre-Socratic of all was Parmenides. The books of Plato, wow, they're all good, okay? But the Phaedo is one of my favorites, all-time favorites. Book of Gorgias. The Republic, no doubt about it. The Republic is a must read. What other book I think would be... the Book of Meno, not that I agree with it, but I think it was a fantastic, thought-provoking read. Incredible, thought-provoking read. And another book that I think is a must-read, even though, again, I think the author made some mistakes. He made some mistakes, no doubt about it, but he hit some profound, heavy truths, is René Descartes' Meditations on First Philosophy. So oftentimes they're referred to as just the Meditations. René Descartes, as you guys probably would say in English. should. What else we got here? Do you read your books in French? No, I don't. I don't feel comfortable reading in French. I can read a little bit, but it just takes a lot more mental energy. And I could read French, no doubt about it, but it's just the mental energy. So rarely will I read something in French. Rarely. Where do you buy your audiobooks? Audible. Most of them are on Audible. iTunes has great audiobooks as well. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Is GSP into philosophy as you are? No, not as much. He's interested. Sometimes we have talks and this and that, but he's not really a book guy like me. He's not really going to delve into a book on a regular basis. What else we got? This is a great one. Do you have experience with a narcissist fighter who was able to overcome their narcissist? Well, listen, unfortunately, there are some narcissists in MMA. No doubt about it, guys. It happens. You have people telling you all around you every day, telling you you're so great, you're so great. It happens. So in the gym, I don't allow any of that. In the gym, everybody's equal. Everybody's sweet, nice, humble. If you're going to take that attitude, you're going to have to go. And then sometimes you see the guy depressor, and he's acting completely different than he acts in the gym. I think it's the lights. I think it's the psychological influence that they have. They want to intimidate their opponent. So I just don't get involved in that. However, I understand you want to intimidate your opponent on fight night or fight week or whatever it is. That's all part of fighting. However, when it comes to the gym, we can't have that because it just kills the atmosphere in the gym. It just kills the culture and atmosphere in the gym. So I really don't tolerate that very much at all. Does GSP spar with aliens before his big fights? Not that I know of. I'm not sure. I don't know what he does at night, but during the day, no, there are no aliens in the gym. Do you think Mighty Mouse should move up to 135 to cement his legacy? I think it would be great. It would definitely cement him. Right now, the big argument if we take away everybody who's ever been tested positive for drugs, okay, take those guys off the table. It's either George or Demetrius Johnson. We have to give it to George. He has two weight divisions. Okay, he's defended the title as often or more. I'm not even sure what the statistics are, but he won the belt in 2 categories, and I believe he's lost less rounds. And also, in my opinion, he's faced stiffer competition. Why? Most human beings, there are more welterweights than there are flyweights. Put it to you that way. That's simple. What else we got here? What else we got here? How do you see Conor McGregor versus GSP playing out? That's a great question. Well, look, George knows. First of all, George has a reach on him. Okay, McGregor is so tough to beat when he's got the reach. If he's fighting a shorter guy, dude, he's been his whole life. He's been the taller guy in his career, in his category. Okay, he's got the longer reach. It wouldn't be the same with George. George would have a huge reach advantage on him. The kicks that McGregor likes to throw, George has been seeing those kind of kicks his entire life. George's ability to cut the distance he's going to get the takedown, guys. I'm telling you, the odds of McGregor landing that left on a George St. Pierre, in my opinion, very unlikely. Very unlikely, because he just doesn't have the wrestling. And he could wrestle every day from now till then. He could wrestle with the best wrestling coaches. It still won't stop that takedown. And if George gets on top, guys, it's a nightmare. Guys, trust me when I tell you, it's just a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare. McGregor's not big enough and or seasoned enough to stop the jiu-jitsu and the pressure. It's just going to be too much, in my opinion. Okay, I could be wrong. No doubt about it. I hope that fight happens somehow, some way. I think it'll be great, but I doubt it. Have you met Matt Hume? Yes, I have met Matt Hume. I've met him on brief occasions. Actually, we're on a flight together once. Like really, like we're sitting side by side. Like he was on the other row, but I was on one side, and we hung out. We chit chatted a bit. Great guy, very sweet guy. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna wind it down here. Is Chael wrong on business secrets trash talking? I heard something about that. I heard that he was angry because Joe talked about the business. Like that Cody, or no, not Cody, Kobe is kind of like writing lines, or I don't know what, something along those lines. I don't think that's fun. I think he's got to call it like it is. Guys, it's not WWE. We know that when guys say stuff, we know that they're over exaggerating. We can tell, so I don't think there's this rule of never talk about the business. I don't believe in that. I'm being as honest as I can. I won't tell you what guys, are doing in training and how they're prepping for fights. That's sensitive information. That I think is like, that's understood, If I'm sitting in the room and, Cormier is training and I happen to be training another guy, let's say it's fight week for another fight and Cormier is just there, he's training, he's there with his guy, his camp, and I'm not going to go talk to people what I saw him do. I know he's got a fight coming up. I'm not going to talk about that. It's unethical. It's just wrong. However, the business stuff, I don't know anything about that. I've never heard of that. I've never, you call it how it is. That's it. That's just my opinion. Fight theater. It's great. Yeah, I think that's a great, that's a good term. Fight theater. Yeah, you could call it a fight theater. We're not kids here. We know it's fight theater. What do you think about Duke Rufus? Great guy. Fantastic guy. And I love his style. Fantastic. The guy's he's probably one of the best trainers in the game. And one of the best striking coaches in the world. Please, can you make a vid on judoka or wrestler fighting striker? Well, I'm not a judoka myself, but I like the judo throws as well. I can maybe do a how to take down a striker. Yeah, sure, but I don't know if that, it's not. It's not. We don't really see the world anymore as strikers and grapplers. We don't say now. Everybody's a mixed martial artist. What else we got here? Has JSP gifted you a UFC belt? Yes, he has. Thoughts on Brock and John Jones? Is that fight happening? That would be an incredible fight. I think, honestly, in my opinion, Jones will just crush him. Like, that's not a fight Brock wants to take, in my opinion. He'll get it. If it's a 5-rounder main event, I don't think he gets away with this. Like, I don't think he makes it to the cards. I think Jones ends his night. But again, who knows? Maybe he takes Jones down and smother him, but I doubt it. All right, guys, I'm going to do one last more. So let's make it a good one. Let me scroll through here and see what you guys got. Do you keep your kids away from video games? No, my kids play video games. Okay, this will be the last one. My kids come in home from school or gymnastic camps. Now they're in the summer and they're in gymnastics. They come in, they do their workout, and then they eat their dinner. And then after their dinner, if there's homework, they do it. And then after that, it's leisure time. They can do whatever they want. I think video games is okay if you earned it. That's it. You earned your leisure time. Do what you want. It's up to you. If you want to play video games. I know my son last Saturday asked me to buy him a video game. I said, listen, I'll buy it for you because you worked out. You worked out every day. You did your chores. You did video game, what, $13? He wanted the Bucks, PlayStation Bucks, or I don't know what it was. He has a game, Fortnite, and he wants like an upgrade. He wants a character. He wants $13. I bought him two of them. I bought him $26 worth of whatever bucks it was. Okay, whatever play bucks or whatever it was. I bought it for him. Why? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He trains. He did his homework. He did his schoolwork. He did it all. And if you work, you get your reward. I don't like to give rewards without the work. So they know when they come in from school, they have 1, 2, 3 things to do. Boom. After that, leisure. We have a lot of peace in the house. Why? Because they know. You don't have to train. You don't have to do your homework, but you get no leisure. You go to bed. You brush your teeth and you go to bed. That's it. So it creates a harmony in the home. I think kids need to wrestle to a certain level. I don't think you need to wrestle to become a fighter. If my kids want to become fighters later in the future, that's their business. I would let them decide for themselves. But I have a minimum standard for my kids. I want them to be black belts. And the reason for that, it might be excessive to most people. Most people are like, what? You want your kid to be a black belt? That's too demanding. Well, don't forget they have a black belt trainer teaching them since they can walk. So it shouldn't be that hard, black belt, for them. Okay, now I don't think it's a universal standard. I don't think parents out there who never train jiu-jitsu make your kids. No, don't do that. Don't. I'm here every day, kind of teaching them stuff that it would be difficult for me to teach them if I wasn't a black belt myself. Okay, so don't take that standard as normal. It's not. So if you're gonna enroll your kids to jiu-jitsu, tell them, look, if you do jiu-jitsu 3 days a week, you get video games twice a week on this day and that day. You can play it from this time to that time. Make a deal with them. Make a compromise. Don't be black and white. Video games are good. Video games are bad. We all need leisure time. We all need me time, hangout time, chill time. You all need it. No doubt about it. And if the work is done, the chores are done, the schoolwork is done, you earned it. Give it to them. Let them have it. Okay, guys, I hope that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will see you all